Hey guys, today I'm gonna show you how I lube my switches so that you can turn your keyboard from this to this. First, you need to decide on what lube you are going to use. If it's your first time lubing, I would recommend using Krytox GPL 205 grade 0. Then you will need a switch puller. I would recommend using the wire type as the plastic keycap pullers could damage your keycaps. The next step is to pull out the switch with a switch puller. How you do this is on the front and back of the switch, there are two tabs which you need to push in with the switch puller before pulling out the switch. Here are some precautions you should take before starting to lube your switches. Lubing gets messy, so get some tissues. Open and lube your switches in a dust-free environment, as dust could damage a switch. And the most important one, always try to apply minimal amounts of lube, as you can always add more lube, but removing lube is difficult. First, you need to open the switch. There are two main types of mechanisms that hold the switch together. There's the type with two flaps on the top housing which clip onto each side of the bottom housing. These are mainly found in switches manufactured by Outemu and Kale. The second type of switch has 4 feet on the top housing which clip onto the bottom housing. These are found in switches manufactured by Cherry and Gateron. If you don't own a switch opener, for the first type of switch, I usually use a cutter. I push the tip of the cutter under the flap and turn it to disengage the clip. In this step, try not to damage your switch too much or crack anything. For the second type of switch, I would use either a small flathead screwdriver or the edge of scissors to leverage the feet and disengage the clip. As you can see from the video, using scissors isn't really optimal, and I would highly recommend using a flathead screwdriver. The next step is to lube the springs. You can either bag lube the springs or lube them one by one. To bag lube the springs, take a drop of lube on your brush and put inside the closed end of a plastic bag. Then smear the drop of lube inside the plastic bag so that the inside of the surface of the plastic bag is more or less evenly coated by the lube. After that, you can pour all the sprigs you're planning on lubing inside the plastic bag, and you should shake the plastic bag for around 3 minutes. Don't forget to roll up the opening side of the plastic bag, or if you're using a Ziploc bag, don't forget to zip it up. If you are lubing your switches one by one, I would highly recommend getting tweezers as it helps keep your hands clean. Hold the spring with tweezers, then just brush a thin layer of lube onto the spring. Try not to brush too thick of a layer of lube as it will make the spring feel a bit mushy. The next step is to lube the bottom housing. A quick tip from me is to get some glue tag and use it to hold the bottom housing in place. Get a thin layer of lube on your brush and apply it to the two walls which the stem of the switch will make contact with. What I like to do is brush those walls twice, then make 2 circles in the hole of the spring guide and 2 more outside of the hole. Then use tweezers to place the spring onto the spring guide. The last part you need to lube is the stem. Different switches have different ways to lube the stem, and it's all up to personal preference. For linear switches, I personally lube each side twice, including the 2 protruding legs. But for tactile switches, I do the same but without lubing the 2 protruding legs. After lubing the stem, place it on the spring with the correct side facing the leaves. The protruding leg should be facing the leaves or the backside of the switch. Then carefully put the top housing on. Make sure it is clipped on properly. And that is it. This is how I lube my switches. Now for the sound tests. This is lubed. Unlubed. Lubed. Unlubed. This is how they sound on the keyboard. Q is lubed and W is unlubed. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up and the bell icon, and don't forget to subscribe and follow me on other platforms. Thank you for watching my tutorial.